Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Nuzla Abdul Halim, ready to report on the GBV cases across the world. Please ensure to subscribe, like, comment and share for more. So as of today, I'd like us to check onto some of the most bugging things in our society. Well, I wouldn't wish to share the resources of this or utter anyone's name because it's something I have heard of and it's something I have seen with my own eyes. So let me keep it anonymous. Everyone, I heard of a case, okay, with this one I didn't witness it, but I heard of it. There's a certain lady, she went home. Okay, she was kind of at fault because you cannot just simply ask your kid whether you want food or not, and the kid says no, and you're like, oh, okay, then I don't need to cook. I mean, as a mother, you have to do your duties well, right? So this lady came off work, went back home, found out that the kid had already come back home. So she ended up asking the kid, would you wish to eat? The kid was like, no, because the kid was busy playing around and all. So the mother thought of not cooking. When the dad came and found out the kid had not yet eaten, he just went straight into hitting the lady. Mind you, he bet the lady to an extent until now her face is swollen with injuries and everything. And when you try to ask the man, he's just like, why wouldn't she cook for the kid? I mean, even if the kid says no, it doesn't mean it's a no. The kid was just playing. She was supposed to cook. It was a right thing. Oh, no. I'm not saying it was a right thing for the man to hit the girl. I mean, the lady. But it was something wrong of her not cooking for the baby. But the man taking the initiative to hit the lady to an extent her face is full of injuries, that was completely unpleasant and very inappropriate. And I think most of you would agree to such a thing. Because the punishment for a woman is not hitting them. It is to explain to them. And if they don't listen, you try to look for other measures that will force them into listening to you, not by hitting them, And I'm sure most of you agree with me in this. So moving forward to the other case, this is something I have witnessed, and I'd also wish to keep this anonymous. It was a case that happened, and apparently this is an issue that is also resulting into most of these femicide that are happening in Kenya. So there were some men who came around. I mean, they were so drunk. I mean, they came, sat down, had their celebrations, whiskey and all, what you guys do. I mean, I cannot relate to that. But yeah, that's what you guys do. So they started drinking whiskey. They were enjoying, and how they became drunk. So there was this other group of women who I think were doing something related to digital creation or something. So one of the men just stood up and went ahead, asked the lady, do you guys have a permit for whatever thing you're doing here? So first and foremost, we must remember that it was inappropriate of him to go ahead and seeking for a permit, because that is not his work. It's not his duty, yeah? But the lady, just to avoid some issues and everything, she handed over her digital permits to the man. So what happened next, I couldn't understand. That's why I am really requesting for a man who is going to give me a stand on this. I don't know, it was masculinity superiority complex or it was ego, I don't know. But this guy, since he saw that things were not going the way he wanted them to be, he threw the phone and started hitting the lady. Why? I don't know. But when that thing happened, the lady didn't back down. She also tried to defend herself. But of course, he is a man, a very masculine figure, by the way. So what happened is one of the other friends took a phone and started recording a video or showing the harassment and all. So after seeing that, the whole gang of men went ahead, took that phone again and threw it away. I mean, I don't know why I'm quite exhilarated, because this is not something which should be of engulfed in a happiness emotion or anything as such. But yeah, the men came and started creating a havoc, a fuss on all whatever they were doing. And then when other people came in to resolve the issue, they were like, they were not the ones in fault. So the girls were like, if you think you guys were not at fault, we have an evidence for whatever you guys did. What we are going to do is we will go to the central police station to look for a way of resolving this matter, because none of them was ready to back down. How were we supposed to deal with that? So everyone around just came trying to resolve it. It didn't work. So what happened next? They were just taken ahead to another place. So I think they went to the police station. I don't know what else happened. In the process of seeking some information and all, one of the ladies came and approached me, because personally, I didn't want this matter to escalate. And I was like, you guys, let us just try to make sure that this matter does not go further and we resolve it. Let people be apologetic for what mistakes they have done. So this lady came and approached me and was like, no, Nuzla, this is not something which is new. It's something that has been happening for a while. If we are to resolve this matter, then it is for these men to land in the police station. She ended up telling me that whenever you guys, whenever they go, Christians, whenever they go, or any other person who is not Muslim, whenever they go for these clubbings or this bar thing, they are drunk and all, maybe late at night, at 11, at 12. So whenever these men come across them, they're like, what are you still doing out here? You're a girl, you're supposed to be at home. You see, she was complaining on such things. And I was like, to be honest, it is not the right of the men to question a lady who is not related on why you still out there. It is their right to protect the ladies out there, you see. And when you try to provoke these men, like for instance, they question you such a question, you see, and you are like, it's none of your business, you see. After that kind of a statement, you end up triggering the ego of that particular man, and they end up now becoming the perpetrators of GBV. So it's something very unfortunate. The men out there being inquisitive of some things, and now because they're drunk and their ego is hurt and everything, they'll end up just doing some atrocities that are not supposed to be committed. So this is something very tragic, of course, and I don't know how we are going to move forward with this, because in as much as we are still creating awareness, trying to fight GBV, trying to fight against these perpetrators, but I feel like this thing has been sticking around for a while to an extent. Even if at some point you mentor a man or you try to sweet talk them towards this, they'll still not forget about what patriarchy is talking about women, about men, because it's like the motivation talks that normally happen. You get motivated for a second, and then after a few minutes or a few hours, the motivation is gone. You see, I feel like that is how our men are currently built, because you'll find a man in a certain women conference or women event advocating for GBV, for freedom of women. But on the other way around, whenever you find them on the street, they're talking like patriarchy is the only thing existential in this world, you see. So I think we need to look for mechanisms that, not only mentorship, but also other mechanisms that will do away with these kinds of thoughts to the men. As other people say, advocacy of combating GBV should start at a very young age, at an early age, where now men and girls and boys are taught on these atrocities and how they should do away with such things, should do away with patriarchy. But the question arises, our generation is not only filled with young people, it is also filled with millennials, Gen Zs, and also having Gen Alphas, So how do we do about the existing men, the existing old men and Gen Zs that are out there? How do what kind of mechanism is appropriate for us to enable them to do away with patriarchy? I mean, that should be the biggest question to ask across. And so far, I have nothing, but I think mentorship alone is not something that will do away with this. Because if you look into the cases, it's something still existential, and you cannot do anything about it. Even the law forces, I mean, even if you take them to the law forces, what will happen? I mean, it is going to increase the rage and the anger to an extent. Once the man is released out of the police station, he'll just now come and do more. Instead of just perpetrating GBV on the aspect of defilement or the rape, they will end up even murdering you in a way that becomes unfathomable, you see. So I think I'd request or I'd like to urge all the organizations or everyone out there who is trying to combat this thing to also think of such a mechanism. And I'd also like you all to comment down below on on some of the ways that you think could be the best approaches to help in doing away with such things. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Please make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share.